Once called the Funky Cat and now called the O3, what we have here is a remarkably appealing car. This trendy little Chinese EV comes from freshly created Great Wall Motors brand ORA and aims to offer people seeking a small, fashionable, all-electric hatch a refreshingly different option.
You should find the ORA 03 to be a perky little thing. With all variants, power is sent to a 171 PS motor on the front axle with 250 Newton meters of torque, which in the most affordable Pure Plus version is powered by a 48 kilowatt hour battery. The alternative is the Pro Plus model, which has a larger 63 kilowatt hour battery. That's what we have here. Either way, there's the usual single-speed auto gearbox, and the sprint to 30 miles an hour is dispatched in just 3.8 seconds, and 62 miles an hour in 8.3 seconds, or 8.2 seconds in the Pro Plus, en route to a limited top speed of 99 miles an hour. What's on offer is just about enough for the car to feel eager, though that's not the same as it being satisfying to drive. If you want kart-like handling, you'll prefer this model's similarly engineered close cousin, the Mini Aceman. For the ORA 03, a sport driving mode is provided, but you won't ever feel much like using it. This isn't really that kind of car. The other modes are normal, eco and auto, each setting accompanied by its own specific chime as you select it. Sport by what sounds like some sort of thunderclap. Body roll is evident at speed in tighter corners. The weird Gitty Comfort tyres aren't especially grippy, and the light steering gives very little feedback, even if you select the heaviest of the three available settings, Sport. Drive with less abandon and you might get somewhere close to the claimed EV range figures, 193 miles for the 48 kilowatt hour model and 260 miles for this 63 kilowatt hour version. To aid your driving efficiency, a display to the right of the instrument cluster screen waves up and down in shades of green, turquoise and red, but all it actually does, apart from making you feel queasy if you look at it for too long, is to tell you what you already know, how hard your foot's on the throttle. A better tool for properly maximising drive range lies with all the various provided braking regeneration settings. There are three: low, standard and high, plus a dedicated one pedal mode, which if engaged basically means you'll hardly ever have to use the actual brake, except when coming to a complete stop. It's great around town, which of course is where that light steering comes into its own, and where you'll notice that the ride's quite supple and effective at dealing with potholes and speed humps. It's a different world from driving this car's other close cousin, the bumpy, unyielding Mini Electric. Nothing visually has changed in the transition from Funky Cat to ORA 03, but nothing really needed to, because there's still a lot that's interesting about this GWM model's retro-stylized looks. As before, Mini-like headlights sprout out of Porsche 911 style winged bulges that flank a twin-ridged bonnet you'll never open. Time to take a look inside. Unlock the car and the headlamps and tail lights do a little coordinated light dance to welcome you. Will it be as trendy inside? There was a funky feel inside the cabin of the original version of this car, and not just because of the brand exclamation mark in the centre of the steering wheel. Most versions of it tended to come with bright, some would say rather over-extrovert, two-tone interior colour schemes. You can still get those, red and beige or blue and beige, but to show that this small Aura can also have a sensible side, GWM also offers the much more restrained dark finishing that we have here. All the colour options give you this smart micro-suede blue stitched finishing for the upper part of the dash, just above the smart silver horizontal vents that stretch right across the fascia. As before, you're faced with a pair of seamlessly joined twin screens, and there are clear Mini influences, the central silver toggle switches and the thin-rimmed, rather overlarge steering wheel. Also, as before, it all feels quite premium in some places, like the faux leather quilting around the seat shoulders and on the doors, and less so in others, with some of the plastics lower down the dash. As previously, there are standard features you might not expect to find on a Super Mini class car, power-operated seats, a glass sunroof, a 360-degree surround camera system, and so on. But also, as previously, there's a whole plethora of driver surveillance features, some of them marshalled by this big facial recognition camera on the A-pillar. And when the car admonishes you for not paying attention to the road when all you were doing was looking at the sat-nav, or tells you for the 5th time on arrival that you've left the key in the car when you haven't, it can all start to get a bit over-intrusive. We mentioned the screens, both 10.25 inches in size. As with many Chinese cars these days, the one you view through the wheel includes rather too many small little digits. Everything else you might need to know is, of course, on this 10.25-inch centre screen, also unchanged as part of the model update. Which is a pity, because ideally this monitor needs a graphics update. There are far too many tiny buttons, many of which, those for temperature control functions for instance, are almost impossible to safely activate while driving. As is the fashion, the home screen displays in widget sections, usually your audio selection accompanied either by a navigation map or media options. Time to look in the rear. Opening the door reveals an entry aperture that isn't very wide. Once inside, it's in the back that you'll notice the difference between this car and other small fashionista EVs. A relatively long wheelbase of 2,650mm means even a couple of 6-footers could sit reasonably comfortably with 720mm of legroom. Where you suffer a bit for that though is when it comes to boot room. The power tailgate rises to reveal just 228 litres of it. Total capacity in the seats folded format is 858 litres. The ORA 03 doesn't provide any additional frunk space beneath the bonnet up front. This ORA charges with Type 2 6.6 kilowatt single-phase AC and 11 kilowatt three-phase AC charging, and comes equipped with a CCS socket as standard. Unfortunately, the maximum charge speed, just 64 kilowatts, hasn't been increased, so remains distinctly on the modest side. Most rivals, an MG4 or an E208 for instance, can charge at 100 kilowatts or more. With the base 48 kilowatt hour version, a 6.6 kilowatt home charging session will take users around 5 hours 24 minutes based on a 15 to 80% charge status. It's 7 hours 20 minutes with this bigger battery 63 kilowatt hour Pro Plus variant. This time is cut drastically when moving up to 11 kilowatt three-phase supply charging. That's the sort of thing that you might conceivably have, say, at your office, where the 48 kilowatt hour battery takes 3 hours 12 minutes and the 63 kilowatt hour battery needs 3 hours and 40 minutes. Public DC rapid charging, again from 15 to 80%, for the 48 kilowatt hour model will take 42 minutes or 48 minutes with the 63 kilowatt hour variant. You can of course set charging times via the centre screen or the provided GMW ORA app. There's still a lot to like here, provided you don't mind trying something different and you happen to dig the retro futuristic styling. If you've looked at fashionista small EVs like the Mini Electric, the Honda E and the Mazda MX-30, and understandably been put off by cramped interiors and pathetic driving range figures, then the ORA 03 could conceivably be your kind of car. It's competitively priced, extremely well equipped, doesn't feel too cheap, has a bit of character, offers a proper back seat and comes with a long warranty. And in this bigger battery 63 kWh form, it gives you a decent distance between charges too. And in summary, well, true, there are a few quirky touches and some things that you might find irritating. The charging speed should be faster. It's not as fun to drive as the styling suggests it might be. Some of the drive assist aids are over-intrusive. Parts of the cabin design aren't particularly ergonomic, and you might be disappointed at the size of the boot. Otherwise though, there's quite a lot to like here. If you were to add in a few posher aesthetic touches, get rid of some of the eccentricities and stick on premium German badging, the press would probably be raving about it. As it is though, for most, this will remain in the short term a strange oriental confection. For the future though, make no mistake, the Chinese are coming.